you pass the school examination. Now, there's many factors why perhaps the child didn't pass the school examination to those who did. It depends on the value that's been given to them at home and in the environment. Whether they were encouraged and encouraged in a way to believe that they can learn the work and be able to pass the school examination, and also depending on the interest that the parent had in them to be able to pass their school examination. And another fact I found was not everybody knew how to study, you see. And that's something I brought up in the English school, and they instilled it in the curriculum. You see, not everyone knows how to study, and not all teachers realize that children need to know how to study. So there was many factors on why you found the percentage of the children did not pass their school examination. And it was nothing to do with their brain, the actual brain or the mind, in the sense that the mind was incapable. No, the mind is fully capable of passing all academical examination, every single one of them. But it was the bridle, it was the stirrup upon the child's mind, and to how he saw himself, the value that was supplanted in him, the false value system that was given to him. And so here goes the ego, because the ego says you have to attain this standard or attain this accomplishment to have that worthiness in yourself. Okay, and now the psychologist wants to call it a triangle: the ego, the super ego, and the id. And so we are forever trying to attain one of these ego, the super ego, and the id. So it's a triangular situation that's going on in our minds. And pride, as we read in the New Testament and James, it's where we refuse to receive correction. And I can say I can be guilty, not refusing, but at times I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. I don't want to admit that I'm wrong. So that's the pride. So we stay in the wrong. We stay in the wrong. And so now the vanity and the vain, that's where we have all these false belief, and it's so heavy in the society that we're living in, we're existing in right now, or the experiences that we have in a collective consciousness. Here's another word, the collective consciousness, because it really grapples with me, is this social status of being rich and poor, and being educated and non-educated. We seem to base our lives around this, on how educated we are and how rich or poor. And now what happens is it keeps the mind in an oppression. And I seem to have a lot to say now, and I've given myself only an hour, so we'll have to come back to this. So we seem to base ourselves in the society according to the social status that we believe, and people really believe that if they weren't born with a silver spoon, that means they're not privileged. And people definitely believe that's their true worth and their true value, to be poor, to be uneducated. They cannot do any further in themselves, you see. And this is what the Lord calls vanity and vainness. Not knowing your true worth, and not knowing your true ability, and even the unlimited capacity of your mind. The system that you're born into has bamboozled you to believe this is the jurisdiction, this is the restriction that you're in. It's either you're educated, so now you can go a little higher in the social status by having a good job, having a good well-paid job, which gives you the privilege of buying a house and a car and a 2.2 family, or you don't have the education, so now you have to get a laborer's work, a work that doesn't need skills and training and qualifications. You see, so now you get a lower wage. It's a challenge to have a home and pay that high mortgage, as well as a car and a 2.2 family. And so the best way out is to have a state home, a home that you rent from the government. You see, so people believe in this and really do not think that there is any other life. This is the existence. This is who I am and where I am. And can I tell you, this vexes the Lord. It vexes his soul to see humanity in this state of existence. The Lord is so zealous for us, so zealous for us to come higher in our belief of ourselves and to know our true worth and our true value. Okay? And that this richness and poorness, in this carnal thinking that, oh, I was not born with a silver spoon and I came from a working class family, that just we have to really pray and ask the Lord for mercies. Pray and say, oh, merciful Lord, because that is so against the Lord. He made us with his hand. He formed us from the dust of the ground, breathed into our nostrils, and made us a living soul. And then we have the audacity to speak his word and say, we're from a working class family. Says who? Says who? We are from the Supreme. We are from the Godsmanship. That's our true inheritance. How dare we claim this social status? And then we confound ourselves and limit ourselves. When there are some born writers in us. There's some inventors in us. Can I tell you that there is a big deficiency in the system? And the earth is heading into a black hole. Because there are some unused potential energies. People are not tapping into their true worth, their true value, their true gifting and talents. Skills remain untapped and undeveloped. And then the government has another audacity to say that there is cutbacks and there is an economical displacement. I really don't know how the Lord handles it in heaven there. That's why he says through the prophet Isaiah, or through Psalmist 103, that he is slow to anger. What a merciful Lord we serve. To know that he made the earth, the heavens and the seas and the fullness thereof. And then, he says, there's no part of the earth that you can go and I'm not there. There's no part of the heaven. I am the Lord of hosts and my kingdom reigns over all. You see? This is what the Lord is saying. And excuse this mouthpiece that I have here. So, I really have to applaud the Lord that he looks upon life on earth, humanity, and he sees us so despoiled, he sees us so underrated, undermined in ourselves, and he knows what he has put in each of us. He knows the fascination of our minds. Thank you for my guest. Thank you for logging in. Yeah? He knows the fascination of our minds. So unused, so dormant. We are the sleeping beauties, can I tell you? We are the Snow Whites, can I tell you? So, I was saying to you that I wanted to talk about Revelation 11:4 and Zechariah chapter 4, 11:3. And it says here, and I will give power unto my 2 witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. Okay, and then as we go over to Zechariah, I'm going to take the New International Version. It says here, I'm going to read the whole of chapter 4. It says, because the word of the Lord is good to read. It says here, Then the angel who walked with me returned and wakened me as a man is wakened from his sleep. He asked me, "What do you see?" I answered, "I see a solid gold lampstand with a bowl at the top and 7 lights on it, with 7 channels to the lights. Also there are 2 olive trees by it, one on the right of the bowl and the other on its left." I asked the angel who talked with me, "What are these, my Lord?" He answered, "Do you not know what these are?" "No, my Lord," I replied. So he said to me, "This is the word of the Lord to Zerubbabel. Not by my might, nor by my spirit, nor by my power, but by my spirit, says the Lord Almighty. What are you, O mighty mountain? Before Zerubbabel you will become level ground. Then he will bring out the capstones to shouts of God bless it. Then the word of the Lord came to me. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundations of this temple. His hands will also complete it. Then you will know that the Lord Almighty has sent me to you. Who despises the day of small things? Men will rejoice when they see the plumb line in the hand of Zerubbabel. These 7 are the eyes of the Lord, which range throughout the earth. Then I asked the angel, "What are these 2 olive trees on the right and the left of the lampstand?" Again I asked him, "What are these 2 olive branches besides the 2 gold pipes that pour out golden oil?" He replied, "Do you not know what they are?" "No, my Lord," I said. So he said, "These are the 2 who are anointed to serve the Lord of all the earth." So now, I haven't really studied for a while, Zechariah. I studied Zechariah about 19, 20 months ago, and I did private podcasting. I have not published these podcasting, but so I haven't studied Zechariah since, nor have I really studied the 2 witnesses. But I found the other night I was just kind of lying there, and I began to talk about the 2 witnesses, and it was like I was supposed to podcast it because some words came out of me, and I began to talk about water, and I went over into Psalms 91. So I said, "Hey, am I supposed to be saying something here to the people?" So a few days later now, I'm coming on this, so I'm hoping that the Lord will flow. So I was just saying to you about the mind, that the brain is in a protection of the skull, the bone skull. But then within the brain is the mind. Okay? And I said that the Lord is calling for us right now, and we have to know the seasons that we are in the Lord. The Lord is calling for us to shift from this carnal mind that we've been in and to come into His mind, the mind of God. You see? And in that carnal mind, I said it was under bridle and stirrup. And there was some other that was riding us, riding our thoughts and pulling the strings. See? And as I said, with the bridle, it's over the face of the horse, because then that captivation can control the horse. Okay? So our mind has not been in its truth. We have existed against a false value system of ourselves, and we have divided ourselves into sections according to the upbringing that has been instigated into our minds from the day we were born, or can I even tell you, from the moment of conception, because in our mother's womb is the placenta, and the placenta is a brain in itself, and in that brain of the placenta, it sends messages over to the baby and starts to develop the personality of the baby. And I know that for sure because I've studied it in the profession that I was doing in scanning babies in the womb. So, and I thank you. I'm having